Hi there, and welcome to part 5 of the comprehensive guide to the self-treatment of patellar maltracking. Part 5 covers an exercise called sissy squats. It's a bit of a funny name. There's nothing really sissy about these squats because they're very hard work. They're also vital towards helping you cure your patellar maltracking problem. This, of all the exercises, will be the one that will give you the most immediate relief towards your problem. It directly addresses the weakness in the inner quads, the vastus medialis, and through a mechanism of the way the exercise works, which I'll go into, it kind of switches off the overactive vastus lateralis, the outer quads, and you'll get to see that doing the exercise. This is it's been the best exercise for me, and this kind of really sort of cleared up a lot of my problems. And then a lot of the rest of the exercises and a lot of the other parts in this video series help stop all the other things that contribute towards patellar maltracking, and so it never comes back ever again. Okay, so the first variation that we do of this exercise is the two-legged version, and you do this version away from a wall, so that there's no wall in front of me. When we do the harder versions of it, we'll do the exercise where you move towards the wall. Now, the camera just pans up. You can see I'm just stood straight up at the moment. I've got my hips forwards, I've got my chest up. I'm just standing normally. I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary here. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to unlock the knees. Okay, so I've unlocked the knees, just the tiniest amount, alright? You'll notice that my heels are raised up on a 2-inch wooden block. I'm actually wearing shoes with solid heels on them. You might find if you did this with a pair of trainers with squashy soles that you wouldn't be stable enough. So if you do have kind of solid heeled shoes, such as like a gent's work shoe or a walking boot, something like that, that's probably ideal. These are actually weightlifting shoes because they've got solid heels. The 2-inch block is to sort of just take away any complications that tight calves might introduce into this exercise. Okay, so you can see I've just unlocked the knees there, okay, and I'm just going to straighten them back up. Now, a little story sort of back into my history with this exercise. When I first did this exercise and I just unlocked the knees like that, just that tiny movement, barely unlocked them at all, that was agonising pain for me. This was just intensely painful because I had incredibly weak vastus medialis muscles, which did virtually nothing, and I had incredibly overactive vastus lateralis, really tight muscles here. And as soon as I went into this position, these were really sort of pulling the knees out this way, the kneecaps, and these were doing nothing. And so the kneecaps just really hurt. But when you kind of stand in this position for a little while, somehow or other, I think the body just kind of just comes into equilibrium, because it either goes into equilibrium or you just stay in pain. And the body's quite clever like that. It ends up kind of just starting to switch on this muscle. And as the inner quads start to switch on, it will centre the kneecap back, and then these outer quads start to lessen. They don't switch on so much, and so it sort of gets the kneecap more central instead of pulling it out all the time. And then I'll come back up. So again, just a real micro movement to begin with. But you've just got to get comfortable at taking the exercise slightly further. So when you can do it there fine and hold it with no problems, then just start to push it a little bit further. Okay? But again, if you pan the camera up to my body here, you can see that the hips are fairly straight. I'm not bending the hips. A lot of people think this is a normal squat. This is not a normal squat at all. This is a weird squat. This is a squat with the name sissy squats, which is bizarre, I know, but that's what it's called. And so I'll be pushing the hips forwards like this. And yes, this does look completely ridiculous, and I'm fully aware of that, but we're not here to look normal or sensible. We're just here to cure this damned painful and annoying patellar maltracking problem. And I know this works because I've done it and cured mine. So here I am, and I'm bending forwards here, and you're probably looking at this and you think, good God, that looks like the most horrendous position for the knees. Why would you want to put them under that strain? They say don't put the knees past the toes. yes, you shouldn't push the knees past the toes when you're doing a normal movement, but we're not doing a normal movement here. We're trying to prepare ourselves for the worst case scenario. We're trying to strengthen our knees such that the knees can tolerate knees past the toes positions. Because think about it, every time you walk up a set of stairs, your knees will nudge past the toes a little bit. Is it the optimal form for a maximal squat lift? No, it's not, but it's the way to strengthen the knees and sort out this patellar maltracking problem. So that's the two-legged version. Okay, so I'm back doing the two-legged version of it here. But you notice this time I've got the wall in front of me. Okay, the wall serves a purpose. It tells us what our range of motion is. Okay, so you can see here I've got all the way to the wall. I'm pushing the knees out here, so they're outside the big toe. They're out sort of in line with the outer toes. That's another key part of this exercise. Trying to keep the body straight, trying to keep the chin in. That's easily forgotten. You can see I was forgetting that myself there. Okay, but I've pushed the knees to the wall and then I return. Okay, and what you can do is you can use the distance the block is from the wall and the distance your toes end up from the wall as a guide to how far you're progressing. So you see there I just did a few reps and my knees touched the wall at this distance. Well, what if now I pull it back a couple of inches? You might be pulling it back 5 millimeters. I mean micro movements and very small progressions you can make with this. But now I push the knees forwards and out. I'm keeping the hips in line, keeping the chin in. Now I can see I've increased the range of motion and I've got to a definite end point. So I can be accountable to how much I've progressed with this exercise. And over the weeks and months, and it will take weeks and months of working and developing your knees on this exercise, you will be able to increase the range of motion that you do. But let's say you got to this point here and it was really painful, the inner quads aren't doing enough, the outer quads are doing too much, the kneecaps are getting pulled laterally. Don't then go and push it even further because that's just going to make it even more painful. Stop when you get to that point where you can't tolerate anymore, hold it there and come back. Again, move it to that point, stop when it gets intolerable, come back up. If anything, you'd want to be bringing the block closer. That would mean the block's too far away if you were that far away and you were getting pain. But then what you find over the weeks and months, that point where it locks up and becomes painful, you can push it a little bit further, you can push it a little bit further as the inner quads become a little bit stronger and the outer quads get more used to switching off and relaxing. And cut. Okay, so then when you've mastered the two-leg version of the exercise, you can work on doing a single-leg version. Now, what you would do when you do this single leg is you would start off very close to the wall with a very short range of motion, and then gradually over the weeks and months you would increase the range of motion bit by bit, just a couple millimetres each time until you can handle longer ranges. Now see, the range of motion I'm doing here is reasonably far. This is actually as far as I ever go on it. You don't need to go any further than this really. This is about as much as you'd ever need to do. Make sure you can do it with both legs. Okay, so I'm just moving on to the other side now. You often find the first rep or so takes a bit of getting used to. Try to keep that hip pushed forward and in line with the rest of the body. Pull the chin in. Squeeze the glute. That's a good tip. Keeping that hip forwards. Okay. And the wall is our measure of how far we're getting.